It is one of the oldest cultures in the world and one of the most misunderstood.
When people think of the Islamic Republic of Iran, they think of war, revolution, anger. My goal has been to get beyond the cliches and to bring to Americans and Westerners in general a slice of life in Iran, which is far more subtle than what we're used to seeing, and perhaps more real.
For 2 decades, most Westerners have not felt welcome here. Now, an American woman has been given the chance to capture this land in pictures. This is the story of 2 weeks in her journey through the Islamic Republic of Iran. Alexandra Avakian is a photographer for National Geographic magazine. This is her 3rd trip to Iran on this assignment. She has a short time and a long list of photographs she wants to get.
There are things that I need. There are things that I'm really pushing for. And there are other things where I'm going back to a place and working more in depth.
Alex is out to capture an Iran few Westerners know about or have ever seen. What most Westerners do know about is Iran's historic revolution of 2 decades ago, when the pro-Western Shah was overthrown by followers of the Ayatollah Khomeini. The U.S. came to symbolize the evils of Western corruption, and Americans at the U.S. Embassy were taken hostage and held for 444 days. Since the revolution, few Americans have enjoyed liberal access to Iran. Alex's work here is a sign of great change. But to get the story, she'll have to observe the Islamic dress code known here as hijab.
Anytime I leave my hotel room, I have to wear Islamic dress in the Islamic Republic. So that really means I have to cover my hair and I have to cover my body, and nobody should be able to tell my weight within 50 pounds. Islamic dress, for me, is just like if you're an underwater photographer, you have to wear a wetsuit. Or if you're like a mountain climbing photographer, you have to bring ropes and all that equipment that they use. It's your passport to an incredible country, and it's a small price to pay.
Alex's interest in Iran is not just professional. Her grandfather was born here, and Alex wants to learn more about her Iranian past.
I'm the 2nd generation American, so it's not my history, but I'm sort of coming back to it, to see where I'm from and to see the same mountains my grandfather saw.
Now those mountains cascade into a modern world. This is Tehran, Iran's congested capital. Alex's first task, paperwork.
I don't have 2 pictures with me now.
Days of it. There are many permissions to secure. Surya Kabari, her fixer, is a master at navigating the bureaucracy. 3 days and many cups of tea later, paperwork completed, Alex can get to work.
When these are on in the center, it's going to be great. These arches, they're nice.
And Tehran is preparing for a celebration. It's the birthday of a revered figure in Shia Islam, and the city is all lit up. It's Alex's chance to get an important series of shots.
I want to show the fabric of daily life in this country. The street life, the traffic, the buildings, what do they look like? What do the people look like? The movement, the rhythm of life.
The religious celebrations go on long into the night. Iran is a nation of devout believers, and the depth of their faith is frequently on display. Today, Alexandra heads to the holy city of Qom. Qom is a city steeped in religious tradition. Iran's Islamic Revolution was born here more than 20 years ago, and the city remains the leading center of Shia Islam.
Oh, he's telling them to go. There's a man. Every time I try to take a picture, man in black, he comes up to the clergyman and he says, "Buru, buru, buru, buru."
Buru means go, go.
I know exactly what it means.
You know it.
Yeah. He's security or something. He's sort of interfering with my job.
Respect for custom and protocol is crucial to Alex's success. She must know when to press on and when to back off.
It's something that happens very quickly in your brain in a very instinctive way, how to work. Sometimes you have to use charm in those situations. Sometimes there's no time for charm. And it's just a matter of moving quickly and yet getting good pictures.
Alex's skill as a photographer is obvious, but it is her cultural sensitivity that has made the difference for her here. And for this assignment, her timing is good too. The political mood in Iran is changing with the election of a moderate president, Mohammad Khatami.
I was lucky enough to go with the president for 3 days, going to different villages, and it was very exciting. He's a gentleman. He's a brilliant man. He's a very popular president. I mean, when he was speaking to these crowds when I was with him, only rock stars get that kind of attention in the States.
70% of Iranians voted for Khatami, giving him a surprise victory and sending a message that people here are ready for change.
There's a progressive movement happening here under the new president to open up society, to open up to the West, more freedom of thought, freedom of the press, human rights.
Khatami has inspired great hope and fierce opposition. Alex wanted to photograph the conservative side of Iran, too. There was no better place to do that than the former U.S. Embassy on the 19th anniversary of the taking of U.S. hostages.
I was able to illustrate the hard line. And the hard line is quite small compared to the rest of the country, but they're very, very vocal and potentially violent.
Even here, Alex finds that things are changing. A former hostage taker now urges peace and reconciliation. And officials sweep symbols of hatred into the gutter. But much of this story is about getting beyond politics. For Alex, it's also about family. Tucked away in the northwest in Iranian Azerbaijan is a town called Havtavan. Once many Christian Armenians lived here. The Farmanians are the last. They knew Alex's family, and they welcome her in typical Iranian style.
The fact that I grew up the way I did, in a Persian Armenian grandparents' home, the food, the way of life, has helped me to deepen the story a lot, and makes it very easy to connect with people. This was my great-grandfather's orchard. He used to come here at the end of the day and drink red wine with his friends and eat nuts and hang out, play backgammon.
Alex's grandfather left Iran in 1923, but she's never lost touch with her roots.
I wouldn't want not to know. I wouldn't want to sort of live my life without knowing where my people come from.
Because that was the best part of it.
My interest in the story definitely has to do with my love for them, and especially my father and my grandparents.
Nearly 90 miles northwest of her ancestral home is an unusual community Alex wants to photograph. The village of Kandavan is hidden in a valley with only one access route. Most of the people make their homes in caves that riddle the mountainside. Life here is hard, and residents are mostly herders, weavers, and farmers.
You have to kind of warm people up here. At first, they can be quite cold. It takes work, hanging around, chatting with the women, and little by little, they become friendlier.
این خانم از خانواده شما عکس میندازه.
نه قبول دارم من.
بعد این چیز میگیره. He says the ladies who don't let the pictures of the film to be taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what if we're only women? Just
حالا
only
که من
women,
آقا
just
بریم
us.
بیرون فقط با خانم باشیم چی؟ خودمون عکس
من چی نمیتونم.
این آقا رو بگیم
Is it
بریم بیرون
okay?
خانم شما بیاد.
بریم جای دیگه ببینیم اگه هستن که ماشه نیستش کسی اینجا. حالا تو خونه که نیست.
Oh, he says they don't take pictures because the pictures are going to be printed somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
He says
But even with hijab
yeah, he says it's.
and manto.
He says if somebody does it, it's too bad for them. It would be too bad for the family.
Alex thinks the stumbling block is the men in their party. It's a problem she knows how to solve.
And we're gonna have to leave you, I think.
You boys.
You boys. You should just hang around, you know, in the background.
Let them
and
tailgate us.
Yeah,
What about
tailgate.
that?
That's very good. Okay.
Now all she has to do is find a woman who's willing to be photographed.
Gel de. Yok vallahi da gelemene.
It's so beautiful here. The sun's going down, and I was hoping that we could get inside a house before the sun goes down because we can get light through the windows. So that's what we're trying to do. So let's go.
Finally, someone agrees, but not without some coaxing.
So sweet, and the kids are sweet. And
Der ki onu gayret görme. Biz kişiler gettiler. Kişiler gettiler.
Sweetie, go around the corner. Go around the corner and tell those guys I don't want to see their faces at all. You see how scared she is? Go. When I'm working in a subtle situation where I'm trying to get into people's homes, tell people's stories, it's really good to hang around as much as possible. The more time you have, the better. Let them forget you. I like to work close to people. Once people relax, you see amazing things in their daily lives. And that's when it works.
Adıma Gül. Adım Gül.
Not only has Alex photographed Iranian women in traditional garb, but she's also managed to get behind the veil, photographing women in situations and circumstances that just a few years ago might have landed both photographer and subject in trouble.
Photographing women here is hard. You want to be able to show them in their real daily lives. But women here, there's a law here which says that pictures should not be published without hijab. Photographing a party, for example, was very, very hard for me. It took many, many rejections. Finally, I was able to do it.
Getting these shots is a breakthrough for Alex. The story her photographs will tell about women in Iran is a story few outsiders know.
I was really happy to be able to show how strong Iranian women are, that they play all these sports, and they're very, very active.
Women here are some of the best educated in the Middle East. Among them are powerful politicians and accomplished professionals.
There are women doctors here, professors, lawyers. It was very important for me to illustrate that.
And when it comes to clothes, though some Iranian women believe in wearing strict hijab, others are pushing the limits. Alex sees women showing some style. Some are wearing makeup and revealing a daring bit of hair, forbidden just a few years ago. And dress shops in Tehran do carry Western styles. Inside this establishment, Alex must be careful to protect the identities of women photographed without hijab.
Women definitely care about their beauty here and like to show it off behind closed doors. You'll see women wearing miniskirts, backless dresses, low-cut dresses. Behind closed doors, women look fabulous.
Another sign of change are the hangouts that are cropping up for young people. But even in a place like this, Alex finds girls and their families on one side, single boys on the other.
They want to set the boys from the girls.
If you like a girl,
Yes.
what can you do to meet her?
We can look there.
Only looking?
Yeah.
Okay.
It may seem tepid by Western standards, but these young people are beginning to forge a new reality in Iran. Signs of change are subtle. A few years ago, engaged couples could have a tough time getting together, and it is still easier for many to meet in the company of a chaperone. But the bus system hasn't changed. Men still sit in front, women in the back. Last, and perhaps most important on Alex's list, is another tough picture. With only a few days left, she heads south to Esfahan, where she hopes to photograph Friday prayers. Alexandra arrives a day early to scout Iran's famous Imam Mosque.
It's like a jewel. Extraordinary. It's probably the most beautiful mosque I've ever seen. Or even, it's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen.
She's hoping to capture people praying in the beautiful open-air courtyard of the mosque.
I want to see numbers of people praying, great numbers, in a beautiful place. And this is the ultimate.
Okay, come to show you some places which is possible to get good.
Alex finds the perfect vantage point, but there's a catch. She may not be able to get the shot.
If the weather is fantastic like today and it's really warm, they're going to put people out in that huge square, which we're not really thrilled about because I want to show the beauty of this building, but there's just nothing we can do about it. It's sort of up to the weather, and we'll just see what happens. Thank you.
There's nothing to do but wait till tomorrow. So Alex spends the rest of the day capturing the rhythms of Esfahan. Friday morning arrives.
I have to have serious hijab for Friday prayers. Suri too, of course. But she's got some hair showing me.
Is it?
Just a little bit.
Let me take it down. So.
That's the look. Salam.
Unfortunately, the weather is beautiful. So prayers will be held outside the mosque, and workers move in to set up the square.
They're going to pray outside, which really doesn't show off the mosque at all. It's lit in the wrong direction and doesn't sing. So we'll just do the best we can.
That means being prepared for anything. Times are tense, and in Esfahan, Friday prayers can sometimes turn political.
The imam of Friday prayers is liberal, and the Friday prayers organization is not so liberal. So there's an inherent tension.
Today, worshippers are frisked for weapons. Signs have already been posted around the square.
This is dead to USA, the great Satan, and done with Israel.
After prayers, members of a radical fundamentalist group, Hezbollah, gather. They are a small and increasingly marginalized voice, but their words this day are harsh.
I speak from Hezbollah, and Hezbollah says and do it. In next time, if American people comes here, they have problem. I'm pretty sure.
Surya doesn't like what she hears.
One of the most important meanings of Islam is peace, which means peace between Muslims and any other kind of religion. Our Prophet was kind to everybody.
But concerned that as an American, her presence might inflame passions here, Alex quietly slips inside the mosque.
They've had a revolution, and some people have ended up with the revolution they wanted, and some people haven't. Some people who supported the revolution are very unhappy today. But the story that I'm doing in Iran is not about me. It's not about being American. It's about almost losing myself in the rhythm of the country and getting in touch with who these people are.
And in the quiet of this beautiful building, she finds the jewel she was looking for.
Obviously, camera means nothing at all. What means something is the brain behind the camera. And when you click the shutter, it's just magic. All these things come together and work.
In all, Alexandra spent over 4 months in Iran, giving us an unprecedented look behind the veil that has shrouded Iran since its revolution 20 years ago.
I think it's the first time an American photographer has been able to wander throughout the Islamic Republic since the revolution. And it's just been an honor and been just incredible. There have been a few tough story points, but by and large, it's been extraordinary.